Capricorn season. So this reading is for everyone that's alive during Capricorn season. And if you get this reading some other time, it's still applicable. But do think back to how are you feeling? What were you really loving on? What really mattered to you in January of 2026? And use that as an answer for whatever is going on for you right now, because there's a message there. All right, so right now, when I'm recording this, we are in the second decan of Capricorn season. And what that means is we're in the part of Capricorn season that is all about community and friendships. And the next part of Capricorn season is going to be about society, but we've already gone through the part that's about our personal journey and our personal life. That tends to happen in the first 10 degrees of Capricorn. And the first 10 degrees of Capricorn, it's like when you're like, oh, I got to get to the gym, you know, new you, new year, new you, and all that jazz. We're past that now. Now we're at the point where we're like, oh, everybody in the community's got the flu at the gym. Like, maybe I should go for a walk outside instead. So it's that community time. But what's really interesting is a lot of the planets right now are in the degrees of society. So the 20s, we have a lot of planets at 22. We've got multiple planets at 22, a lot of planets in the 20s, and then we have our planets in the teen degrees too. So right now the focus is very much more on our communities and our society than it's been all since we're still in the year of the snake. So we've been in the year of the snake since 2025, the beginning of 2025, right? So we're still in the year of the snake, and it's the very ending of the year of the snake, but we're finally at that part where we're like, okay, we're all exfoliated. Let's look around and see what's going on in our communities and our friendships and with society. And society and communities are having conversations and figuring out how they're working together. And that's really interesting. So on one side, we have all of these planets that are like over here in Capricorn. Then we've got like a little bit of Aries here off to the side. And Aries is in a couple places. One of the places has to do with everything that we've learned that has to do with healing. So we've got a bunch of Capricorn, a bunch of stuff happening in Capricorn over here. And then we've got Aries. So you can picture that as either the urge to build, because Capricorn loves to build, or the urge to like run up that hill. And then the little Aries energy is like, yeah, you know, we've never seen this hill before. Let's keep going, like blaze a trail. So we've got that energy. Then we've got on the other side of that energy, we've got Cancer. We always have, whenever the sun is in one sign, the moon is in the opposite kind of vibe is what you've got going on. So that always happens. But the difference this time is that we have Jupiter there at 22 degrees. Jupiter's been at 22 degrees for a long time, but now other planets are also at the same degree. So Jupiter expands everything. So the moon is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is really at home in the moon. So we've got the moon in Cancer at 22 degrees Jupiter. 22 is a master numerological number that has to do with building. It's a master builder. Very powerful number in numerology. So we've got Cancer, which rules our intuition, our ability to have recognize patterns with a quickness that is so quick that we seem magical about it. And we have Cancer energy, which is our extrasensory abilities. So it's when we're embodied. We're in Earth season. The sun is in Earth, Capricorn. So it's about the body. That's part of it. And it's our smell, our taste, our touch, our hearing, and then everything else that paying attention to those things gets us. Cancer is also a lot about security. So if you picture these things, you know, that are kind of all this energy over here, all these planets over in Capricorn kind of energy. And then we've got Cancerian energy that's like feel, smell, taste, touch, all of it for the purpose of security and for the purpose of preserving whatever matters to the heart the most. So we've got these two things, these two energies. And the purpose of this is not that they're in opposition. So the older types of astrology would be like, things are opposite, so that means that they have to fight and someone's going to have to sacrifice, someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. That was the old paradigm, the old way of thinking during the age of Pisces. But we're in the age of Aquarius now, so that's not the thinking that happens anymore. So the feelings are different. The feelings are, there's these other types of feelings. Pisces was a very feeling energy, but during the age of Pisces, it was very much a feeling of sacrifice. We had religions that were worldwide that were built on the idea of sacrifice, and sacrificing is what's meant to be. And the majority sacrifices for the one, or the one sacrifices for the majority. Like now we're out of that rule book and we're into a different rule book now. In the age of Aquarius, it's not about sacrifice. In the age of Aquarius, it's about what is more equal, what is more fair, what is more just, and what is more of the bigger picture. We don't see things as like the underdogs. We see things as everything is equal in regards to what it needs to be tended to. And it's not a rebel for needing to be tended to, and it needs to be tended to with care because it will affect the entirety as a system, as a whole. So instead of looking at it as these energies are opposing, we can look at it as these energies are like a teeter-totter. And not just a teeter-totter that, you sit on when you're a kid and you bounce off of it and you get up high, and then the other kid bounces off theirs and they go up and you go like this. It's not just that. This is like a teeter-totter, like that moves forward every time it's used properly. So one side of the teeter-totter is that Cancerian energy that's like, come on, feel, and it will be beneficial. But the difference is that we're not going to drown in the feeling. It's not the age of Pisces anymore. We're not going to drown in the feeling. We're not going to sacrifice ourselves. We're not going to sacrifice our feelings. We're not going to say, no, I'm not going to feel that because I can't feel that, and keep pushing and climbing the mountain and feel that. At the same time, we're going to learn that we can have our feelings, that our feelings matter, and that feeling good will not just benefit ourselves, but it's going to benefit our community and it's going to benefit society. There's a way to do this in a way that feels better. And that's going to matter. And it's not going to be that sloshy, quicksandy kind of feeling that Cancer or Pisces or Scorpio can get when it mixes with Earth. It's going to be the kind of feeling that's you land and there's a puddle, but you can still push off of the Earth. Capricorn is Earth energy. You can still use it as a springboard to keep balanced. So this opposition, it's about solving a paradox. When you have two polarities, there's a paradox. The paradox has to do with balance. So it's a time to really be listening. Like, does this feel right? Does this really feel right? And we need to be asking ourselves, does this feel right? Don't let confusion make you think that you don't know how you feel. Because if something seems confusing mentally, chances are that there's something that feels off about it, and the mental confusion is being used as a distraction to keep us out of the feeling. So right now, Mercury, which rules the mind and thought, is off on its own. It's doing its own thing. So we got our group of all these Capricorn types energies over here. And then we've got Aries right next to it that's like, yeah, keep going, push through. Then we've got Cancer over here that's like, take a recess. Yeah, you're building new things. That's great. But take a recess because you've got 260 years of Aquarius and Pluto. So whatever you're building, it's going to take some time. Next year, everything's going to move really fast, but you're going to need your rest. Make sure you get your rest. Make sure you pay attention to how you feel. Make sure you're secure. And then we've got Mercury off over here on its not involved in it's involved, but it's doing its own thing. So if you feel confused, that's an indication that there's something going on with your feelings. And we have been trained through the age of Pisces We've all been trained our entire lives to not be paying attention so much to how we feel and to keep pushing through. You know, if you got to go to the bathroom and like you're in a meeting, you're supposed to hold it, right? That's part of being civilized, right? So that, you know, you don't get up and everybody else gets up at the same time and then the speaker's left there. Well, we're on a totally different playbook now. Like if you gotta, you know, take care of your feelings, it's important. They're there for a reason. We've had Cancer with Jupiter in the high degrees a long time now. It's like at least a year, almost a year-ish, and it's been training us to like how do you manage your feelings. Things are going to feel harder for people who maybe come from older money or who come from lineages where they've made their money off of like the family business. The older structures are coming down, they're crumbling. I'm saying this metaphorically speaking. Think of it like when a tornado sweeps through. Tornadoes do the weirdest thing. Tornado is air. Aquarius is air, and we're in the age of Aquarius. So, and Aquarius is at 3 now, so it's going to triple. And we're going into the time of the horse, the year of the horse, so things are going to really speed up. So a straw can go through the trunk of a tree like that during a tornado. If you think about tree as earth, you think about the foundations of some of these older structures, you know, older lineages, those of us who come from older money, or those, you know, old establishments that were built on things that were not part of the current playbook. Those structures are just going to kind of crumble. It's just going to happen. Like, it's just, you know, it's going to happen. In 260 years, things will not be anywhere near what they're like today. So the rules of the new playbook are equity, equality, justice, fairness. If there were old establishments that were built on not treating the volunteers fairly, not treating the workers right, not paying them fairly, if there were establishments that benefited from slave labor or anything that was like not equitable or fair or just, those structures have to be rebuilt. They have to be rebuilt from the ground up. This isn't just a remodel. This is like a tear down completely and completely start from the ground up. That's going to be what works for the older structures that are in place if they want to be able to keep thriving. And that requires learning a new playbook. It requires being educated beyond the basics of a college education. It requires being educated on what equity, equality, fairness, and justice is. And that type of education on a worldwide level for things to be, you know, beneficial, requires like taking time to like learn about the rest of the world, not just from a place of sitting on one's laurels. There are newbies though. There are like people that are building new things, that are starting things afresh, that have never done it before. And if they are integrating their new lives that they're building, their new structures that they're building, their new businesses, whatever it is, that as long as that is truly in a place of truth and equity and fairness and justice, it will thrive. It'll, you know, take 260 years before you see like a lot of the benefits of it, but it will thrive. Those are where like investments would need to be for long-term growth. That's the general trajectory. Anything that would require sacrifice is it's just not. The things that are going to change are the things that are the majority. So like these little things that are 1% that are being like a magnifying glass is being put on them maybe. If it's just 1%, like an education that's above a basic level of college education, around the world, less than 1% of the human population is educated beyond the basics of a college education. When I say the basics, I mean like the math that you're repeating from high school and the reading and the yada yada, like beyond that, the education in college that actually teaches you about like the rest of the world, less than 1% of human population has that. So we're talking like the people who benefited without having that, that age is over. Like, that's not the way things are anymore. Now it's Aquarius is all about knowing, what does your community, what does society, not just, community around you, but community on the World Wide Web. We have internet. So it's like, what do others need? What benefits the whole, like, of society and community as well. So those are the areas that, if you're enjoying the building process and the new life and all of that, you're going to want to really be thinking about, how am I integrating fairness and justice and equity and equality? Like, how am I integrating that into this? Even if you're a newbie and you're on the edge and you're like doing all that already, and you're here, it's still like, we can't just think that we know everything. There's always more to learn. So, if we've made mistakes, it's going to be about, reparations and repair. Like, some mistakes can never be repaired fully, but like acknowledgement, more than acknowledgement, but reparations and restoration and things like that. And there's enough of everything in the world for things to be more equal and to be more truthful and to be more just. So that is the reading for Capricorn season, for all of us. And, it'll be a little harder for Earth this upcoming year, I would say, because Earth tends to be really like, like, I have Virgo in part of my chart, and like that part of me is like very much all about making everything perfect and paying attention to all the details. Well, that's in the South Node. It's time to like kind of let go of some of that a little bit. So, and then Taurus is very much about resting on the laurels and acquiring and accumulating wealth, but it's based in this like sacrificial kind of place. Like, it's represented by the cow, but the cow is like eaten in most of the world. So the age of Pisces is over. So like for Taurus, it's going to have to be something like learning about how to that having more does not require a sacrifice of the self, or the sacrifice of others. And Taurus is going to have to learn a lot about fairness. What is true fairness? But yeah, all of these earth signs, Capricorn is going to have to learn about, like, if this is a structure that was my heritage that I, inherited, if this is old money, it has to be completely like redone from the ground up in this new way of this new structure. It can't just be remodeled, because everyone's going to see right through that as time goes on. It's just not going to work. It's not going to last. So, and people aren't going to take the time to like have discussions about it anymore. They will have had this 22 degrees of Jupiter in Cancer, giving them this expertise of building upon emotions and listening to their emotions. They'll be so fine-tuned that they won't even like give it the time of day. They'll be like, nope, that feels off. I'm not even gonna, and then boom, it's the year of the horse. They've already flown to the next town off in their horse. So it's really important to like make sure that, things are as honest and clear and fair as possible, because it's going to benefit everybody. It's going to benefit you more, but it's going to also benefit everyone more. And yeah, there's no winners or losers so much anymore. This isn't a time of sacrifice. The age of Pisces is over. This isn't about winning versus losing. This isn't about devouring all the fish in the sea in order to survive. It's not about sacrifice. It's about, it's not about competition. It's about interdependence. It's not about independence. It's about interdependence. It's about integration. It's about working together. So yeah, that's the reading for Capricorn for everyone. And I hope it does you well.